Hello all and welcome to Wow Crochet Designs. My name is Mary. In today's tutorial we are creating this gorgeous little beanie to match our little tiny scarf that we are attaching to our wreath. It's a very exciting tutorial and I'll tell you why in a minute. Firstly, I'll look at the little beanie. It's even got the tiny little hole in there. It's got a piece of thread at the back because we're using that thread to attach it to our wreath. But look at the little pom-pom on top. I had a lot of trouble making the pom-pom. I can't get it out now. Had a lot of trouble making the pom-pom on the tutorial, so bear with me on that, guys. But the beanie does look so cute and it's a matching pair. Yeah. Now, who remembers when I made this particular scarf, which was only made yesterday? I made this scarf as a January, let's try April project. Start again, Mary. As an April project for the wreath. In honour of me being unwell. I was unwell during April. The whole family were unwell with the flu. And I thought, what do you do when you're not feeling 100%? You wrap up and you make a little scarf. That's what you do, right? So I thought, why not have the matching beanie and have a little set right there that we can pin to our or sew to our wreath. How gorgeous is that? Now, this beanie is made in honour of, I don't know what you can call it. It is our May project. And we were going to do something royal for the May project, but I've changed my mind. I'd rather have a matching beanie, and that can be the May project. That's the April project. And there you go. So that's it, guys. I'm not going to talk too much. I'm just going to let you get started. Of course, being such a small project, I mean, look how small it is. You won't need much. You won't need much. If anything, you use a lot for the pom-pom because we wrap it around, and we use a fork to make our pom-pom here today, so get excited about that concept. So we're using the fork to make the pom-pom. You will need your scissors, and today we are using two stitch markers, yeah. And in the tutorial I started using one sewing needle, but I changed to this big guy right here. Oh, let's get a close-up. The big guy right there, because it had a bigger eye in it and I could use two tails to go through for the pom-pom, and you'll work that out later. And the yarn we're using today is the upside down. Hello, come on, you can do this, Mary. I went too far down, didn't I? The Marvel yarn, which is a basic, more affordable acrylic here in Australia. And of course you will need, I've got threads everywhere here, you will need your 4mm hook, which it states right there. It's so blurry in here today. 4mm hook, but we are using two hook sizes today. Like we did once again with the scarf, we start with our 4mm hook and we do the rest of the tutorial with our 3.5mm hook. So you will need the two for this tutorial. All right, so I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to say good luck creating your gorgeous beanie. I'm trying to hide everything now. It's not going to work. Your gorgeous beanie matching your gorgeous scarf. All right, guys, we're going to start off by making a slip knot. Grab the tail end of your yarn, wrap it around your finger once and twice, leaving a long tail, yeah? Holding your tail there and your working end there, grab your working end, passing it halfway over your finger, hold it there. Grab the other end, passing it all the way over. Find your 4mm hook, that's what we're using first. Pop your hook in the little loop, having a nice long tail there, and you're going to chain 9. And a chain is yarn over your hook, pull a loop through, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Just lifting up that loop a little bit. We're going to change over to the 3.5mm hook. Because we are working with a wreath project and we need it to be small, we want to use the smaller hook. So from here we're going to do a single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. All right, so we're starting by lifting the very first loop you see, pop your hook in, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, grabbing your stitch markers. I meant stitch marker because you only need one here. You only need one. All right, there you go. All right, so you're going to do a single crochet in the very next stitch, and you can see that little thread right there, the little loop right there, and one single crochet in there. From here, you're going to do 6 half double crochets across. Okay, so a half double crochet is yarn over your hook, and you're going into the very next chain. You see, pull a loop through, and you should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over your hook, pull through all 3 loops on your hook, and that's your first half double. We'll do it again. Yarn over your hook, into the next stitch, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. That's your second. All right, so go across and do the next 4. So you need to do 3, 4, 5, and 6. Whoops, if I can get it in. Looks like I've split the yarn there. Give me one moment, guys. There we go. We're under control. Okay. Chain 1, flip your work. And you're going to work in the stitches that we just created. But what we're going to do is do a half double crochet in the first one. So yarn over your hook, pop your hook into the stitch, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook, grab your second stitch marker and pop it in that stitch that you just made. Now this is going to be a 2-row repeat pattern. This is your first row that we're doing right now. When we go across this way, we're going to do the rest of the stitches in the back loop except the last single crochet. So yarn over your hook, you're going to face your work towards you, and you see those little V looking stitches there. The front of the V is the front loop, the back of the V is the back loop. So you're going to do a half double crochet into that stitch in the back loop right there only, and complete your half double crochet. Oops, 1. So yarn over your hook, go right into the very next stitch. Mine's a little tight, but it's there. Pop your hook in, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook, and that's 1, 2, 3, and I think I've just split the yarn, but don't worry about it, I'll fix it up later. Into the next stitch, 4, into your next stitch, 5, and 1 into the very last half double with a 6th stitch. And now you have your 2 single crochets left. You're not doing any yarn over, you're popping your hook in the back loop of that first stitch, and you're doing a normal single crochet by pulling a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. And then on the very last stitch, you're going through both the loops with a single crochet. Right there. No, that just split the yarn, excuse me. Into the stitch, pull the loop through and do your single crochet. Remove that stitch marker. You'll need it for the next row. Now that was your first row repeat. You'll start to see not only that little curve, but also a line here, a ridge here. That's the look we're going for, yeah? All right, so now we are chaining 1, flip your work. And now you're going to work along these stitches. Now remember, this is your second round repeat, and you're going to do your single crochet in that very first stitch, and it's the stitch that you are in. So pop your hook in, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops, grabbing your stitch marker and popping it in, that tight stitch right there. They are going to be tight, guys, because we are using a smaller hook for this yarn, yeah? All right, and we're going to pop a single crochet in the next one, but in the back loop only. So pop your hook in, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're doing our half double crochets across. Yarn over our hook, but in the back loop, pop your hook in, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. That's 1, and we need to do 6 across, don't we? 2, 3, 4, 5, and in the very last stitch, which I believe might be split. Oh no, it's not split. It just looks so tight. You do your last half double crochet in there, chain 1, and just pull up a loop for some instructions. Take out that stitch marker that you just went into, yeah. And what you have is that. All right, so you now have 3 rows done so far. Let me bring this out a bit, that's better. So you can see, you have 3 rows done so far, and on every second row, you're going to have this little ridge appearing. So what you're going to do now is to repeat those last 2 rows that we did until you have 10 rows altogether. So you just need another 7 more rows using that pattern, the last 2 rows, over and over again. Get them done and meet me back here, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the 10th row. Now it doesn't really matter where you ended up, not at all, okay, because you're going to end up with 2 or 3 threads anyway. So what you're going to do is do your single crochet in your last stitch if that's where you ended up. If you accidentally did another round or didn't do another round, it doesn't matter. Preferably do 10 rounds or more. 10 rows, not rounds, Mary. 10 rows or more. Do your last single crochet, take out your stitch marker like so. Did I do the chain? Yep, chain 1. Pull up that tail. You can pull it up nice and tall if you like. Preferably make it tall. Yeah. Give it a cut. Give it a cut. Give it a cut. Oh, threads everywhere. Okay. And just give it a tug. All right. So what you have now is that with all the ridges, it looks nothing like a beanie, but we're going to close it up now. See where that stitch marker is right there that we still haven't taken undone? What you're going to do with the thread from the base, you're going to thread your piece. Now, if you didn't leave a long enough, oh, this is not going to work. I'm going to have to do it off air. If you didn't leave a long enough space, oh, that's okay. If you didn't leave a long enough thread, sorry, you may need to use another thread, or you can use this one. But this one we're going to use to close up the top of our beanie, yeah? So if you didn't leave a long enough tail, don't stress, just get a piece of thread and attach, yeah? See that stitch marker right there? You're going to grab this tail. Actually, we can even go the other way. Does it matter which way we go? No, it doesn't really matter. So there's your tail. We're going to go into the stitch where the tail is, yeah? Then we're going into the stitch where your stitch marker is, right there. So pop it into the stitch of your stitch marker. I might have to do this off air because I can't see too well through the camera. I cannot see too well. Here we go, right there. We'll take out that stitch marker. Didn't put that in right. And it doesn't matter what the sewing up looks like with this. But you know how you've gone through already? You're going to go back another time just because this is going to look a little odd. So go back in another time and sew it again. And then all you're going to do, and of course this is not like we would do a normal beanie, yeah? We're just doing it this way because it's easier. Pop it through your very next stitch and the very next stitch that you see right there. Oh, I don't know. I can't see through the lens. I know it sounds silly, but it's true. Okay, into the very next stitch. I can see the front of the stitches, which is good. And into the very next stitch. It's the back one I can't see through the lens. So I hope I'm not out of frame, but I'm not looking through the lens at all for this part. I do with the front section, like this part here I can look through the lens, but you're going through each stitch across, very basic, all the way across. And again, this doesn't matter what it looks like, it's going to be folded under the, oh, where am I? We're in that one. Being careful not to go in the same stitch. It's going to be folded under the back of your beanie, which will be tucked in under the wreath when we sew it onto the wreath, okay? So do that. And there, into the very last stitch you've got, Yes, and back into that last stitch right there. You're going back into the second stitch only because we want to finish off. Put it in there. And if you want, you can leave this tail, just go through a few times, leave this tail to attach to your wreath, or you can use another thread to attach. I'm thinking I might leave it. So what I'm going to do is just weave it in a little bit, just a few stitches down that way. Doesn't matter what it looks like on the other side, no one's going to see it. So pop it through. Normally we check, but we're not really worried. Let's pull that thread this way. All right, and then we're going back into the same direction. Again. And don't put it in a knot. That's no good. I've done it twice. Can you believe it? There. And then just leaving it up the top so that we can attach this to our wreath once we're done. But for the other tail that belongs to the top of your beanie, you're going to thread that one. It's a really long tail. We don't need such a big tail. But anyway, you're going to thread that one into there. And then you're going to, this was the easy part, but it might be difficult for me because I can't see through the lens very well. So there we go. So we're here. I'm going to bring that tail down. This is where you are. This is where you are. You're going into the stitch there. And you're going to pull that through. And you're going in and out of stitches across. So you're in that stitch there, go into the next, like so, in and out. And we're here. I'm going to go wherever you see a hole, just go in and out through one hole and out through the other. In through one, out through the other. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. No, not at all. In through one hole, out through the other. And again, from there to there. Well, we might just leave it like that. And all you're going to do is give it a tug and your piece will close up like that. And don't worry what this looks like because we are going to have a pom-pom on it which we're going to make together. All right. So what you're going to do here is you're going to go in and out now of these stitches and just tug it closed. And the more you tug it closed, the better it looks. Yeah. So you're tugging it closed. This is not how you would make a normal beanie. It's very similar, but I'm not putting my thumbs in there to keep it steady. I'm just going through all thicknesses. It doesn't matter because, again, it's not a real beanie. It's a fake one. A fake one. We'll keep weaving in and then we can just cut it, yeah, because it's hard to sew that on the center. So we're just going to keep weaving it in right up the top. It's really thick now. I think it's not going to come undone. So there we go. We're going to give it a cut. You can do it a couple of more times if you're really worried. So far, it looks kind of weird like that. But again, once you pop your little pom-pom on, none of it's going to be noticed. All right. So leave this tail. You're going to use that to sew the piece to the back of your, to the front of your actual wreath, but it's the back of the beanie. So it doesn't really matter that it looks like that. I would never do a beanie looking like that. That's a terrible look, right? But for this piece, it's okay. All right. So now we're going to do the pom-pom. All right. So to make the pom-pom, you need to firstly grab a fork. I know that sounds weird. Any fork. It's not the best fork in the world, but it's a spare one. And a piece of thread, I don't know, let's just say grab your hand and just double it. The size of your two hands together. Oh, well, even the thumbs together. Yep. Two hands together and cut it like that. Right. What you're going to do is pop it over the center of your fork like that and leave it right there. Yeah. Hold it with your hands there. Then you're going to grab your normal yarn that you're going to use to wrap around your fork. You're going to grab it and hold it there. And you're going to do a wrap around, I don't know, 20 times maybe. That's how much that little one before looked like. All right, so just wrap it around once just so that you can kind of lock it into place and it doesn't collapse like it just did. Wrap it around once there. Bring that tail down. We're going to cut it, so it doesn't really matter. So once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, I don't know, 20. That pom-pom that you saw before was 20, all right? So hold that there, give it a cut there, move that out the way. Now you grab this thread that we pulled through the fork. A little awkward, but you know, it's okay, don't pull it undone. I had to pull it through with a thin crochet hook when I did it because I messed it up. And you bring it up here and you bring it through your fork like that. So you're bringing it through your fork. Normally I would turn the fork around so it's easier for you to see, but I don't want to leave marks in my board, all right? So what you do is you tie a knot real tight, all right? Then you grab another knot as well and go real tight over it like that, yeah? Then you hold your pom-pom steady, or you could take it off. I took mine off, but if you're a bit worried about taking it off, just grab your scissors and start cutting along the fork. On one side, hold it steady. I'm trying not to lose it. Cut it along the fork on the other side. I took it off, to be honest with you. It was a lot easier for me. But you can leave it on if you like. I just found it easier to take off. Don't cut your thread that you use to, you know, tie it together. Don't cut that, yeah? So you're going to hold your tie-ups that you use to tie it together, and that's what it looks like so far. It's going to have long pieces because I just didn't do a very good job at wrapping it around the fork properly to begin with. All right, so what you've got is that. What you're going to do now is you are going to trim your pom-pom. Being careful not to cut your thread that you used to tie up with. And being careful not to trim too close to the edge of the pom-pom, otherwise it's not going to look right, is it? And my pom-poms, they always look messy, so hopefully yours look better than mine. I'll show you the first one and then I'll show you this one. We'll see which one's better. When you do it off air, it's so much easier, yeah? Okay, well, that's not bad actually. There we go. Went a bit quiet there for you, didn't I? Sorry, guys. Just go to sleep when I do things like this. All right, just move it out the way for a minute. That's what you should have. That's my first one. I don't know which one's better. I don't know. They look the same to me. This one's terrible. All right, the one we just did now is better. Yay! Grab your beanie. There it is. You're going to attach it to the beanie. How are we going to do this? It's a little awkward, isn't it? So what we're going to do is grab this sewing needle like that. If you've got a thicker sewing needle, that would be better. You could, you know what, let's grab a thicker one. All right, see this one here? It's got a really big eye, and you could put both those threads. I have to do one at a time because I've cut it really poorly. So you can put that thread through it, hold it there, and the other thread through it. Both of them. Hopefully you've got one. If you haven't, you have to do them separately, which is really awkward. It doesn't matter anyway because this is not working for me. It's too, you know, the yarn is too fluffy. I know, we'll take out that one because that one's not so fluffy and I can do it later. Yeah. I'm getting there. And if you haven't got it, you have to put one in at a time and then just pop it through the beanie one at a time, which would be very awkward. All right, so what I'm going to do is even this out. Pull the threads through, even it out. And then, there, we're going to grab our little beanie and pop that needle through the center. Don't pin yourself. It's a little bit awkward. It might be an idea to just attach it from the top. Oh, I felt that go through. This is actually acrylic yarn, guys. I think I mentioned that at the beginning of the tutorial. So it can come across a little tight. You push it through and then you just tie it up on the inside. And because no one's going to see the inside, because it's going to be attached to our wreath. So tie it in a knot once, tie it in a knot twice, like that. And don't cut it short, just cut it enough so that the beanie can sit over it and you can't see the threads. I did that off air, but just cut it enough so the beanie can sit over it. So when you pull the beanie through, ta-da, there you go. Now you still have this thread attached, which we are going to use to attach to the actual wreath. Now, I don't like what I've got here. Look at my ends all funny. You can continue to play with your pom-pom. You've got it better than I have. Oh my gosh, that's terrible pom-pom. I've done such a bad job. Hopefully you've done a better job. I don't use pom-poms. I really don't like them, heads up. Just so you know. I really don't. Because they do eventually come undone. Even with a pom-pom maker, they can come undone. All right, so there you go. So your one beanie with a pom-pom right here, which is a really bad pom-pom. I'm going to have to fix it up off air. But there you go. One beanie with a pom-pom made. Let me grab the scarf, the matching scarf, which we made yesterday. Ta-da! Oh, let me bring it out a bit. There you go. Well, let's hide that thread. Pretend like we've weaved it in onto the piece. But there you go. How cute. What a mess. What a mess. Let's move that out the way. How cute does that look? It's a little bit messy here. We'll fix it up. There you go. Well, hide that tail. Stop. Stop. Go in there and don't move. It doesn't want to stop. Go. It does look a bit weird and lopsided, but when you sew it to your piece, you won't notice it. Can I bring it out a little more? Oh, here we go. That's coming out a bit more. That's better. This new camera comes out a lot more than the other one did. So we've got more options to see things in a longer length. How gorgeous does it look? I love the little beanie. Don't worry too much about that tail. We are using it. I'm laughing because this pom-pom is so bad. Hopefully yours is better. If you find it doesn't sit right, just grab a thread and attach it at the back. This is very funny. I've now got the giggles. I better stop recording now. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share and do all the wonderful things that you guys will pretty much already do for me. And don't forget, guys, we are going to be doing the actual wreath itself. Get ready, guys. I did say Friday, but the way it's looking, I may get it done, completed by tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Thursday. I may get it done by Thursday, which gives me more time to play with it. All right. So thank you very much for enjoying. It's so cute. I love it. Together they look gorgeous, don't they? Thank you very much for joining us today. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share and do all the wonderful things that you guys always do for me. And don't forget, guys, we will be doing our wreath on Thursday. Get excited. Get way too excited. Well, I am. So thanks again for watching and ciao for now. Oh, I really love my little beanie. It's so cute. Well, the pom-pom needs a little bit of adjusting, but we won't worry too much about that.